want to share with you my New Year's resolution that I made. Essentially one of them was to get rid of the caffeine or reduce the caffeine in my life. I had let the last few months get away from me. I'd created the habit of too much. And it wasn't because of fatigue and tiredness. I just slowly drifted into this habit of stopping multiple times for different levels of caffeine. Well, the key point here is first you create the habit and then the habit creates you. There were many times I didn't need it or want it, but the habit of going to the store kept happening. See, your brain is a pleasure-seeking organ. You tell it first what's pleasurable, and then it tries to mimic it and show you and find and relate you to the pleasure. And that involves anything in life, physically, mentally, or spiritually. Now, why did I want to get off the caffeine? Well, because it was creating a volatility in my mind. My sleeping pattern was different. My eating pattern was different. It seemed like I had to be motivated instead of inspired. It just changed me. It changed the chemistry in my body, changed my perception and my psychology. I didn't like that. So I'm bringing this up to share with you that the same thing happens with our emotions. When we're emotional, it changes our chemistry, our ratio of perception, how we see things, good, bad, right, wrong, changes our psychology and changes our physiology. Let me show you what I mean. When we look at this, when we're very centered and focused and present, we are essentially emotionless. We're grateful. We're present. But as we begin to think and add, emotion now comes from a perception of, hey, this is bad or this is good. And if it's just a little bit of a swing, then we have a small change in chemistry. If we perceive it's negative, we'll release a little bit of negative fight or flight chemistry. If we perceive it's a little bit positive, we'll release a little bit of oxytocin and serotonin and dopamine and such. But if we keep thinking on it, we keep picturing it, we keep talking about it, we keep doing it, our brain says, hey, you must like this, let me give you more of it. So we drop down to another level and we add more negativity to our thought, or we add way more positivity to our thought, and then we start creating changes in chemistry, which changes our psychology, which makes effects in our body. And then if we keep it up, the brain starts to understand this is what you really want. There's something called neuroplasticity. Well, what that means is it's giving you more of what you love. You only see the things you love. You desire the things you love. Or you see the things you hate and you think about the things you hate, well, it gives you more of that. So the greater the swing, the greater perceptions that are off, the greater the chemistry happens in your body and the further from the normal. It means you're more volatile financially, more volatile in your eating, mentally, spiritually, physically. You're more volatile. You're having to be motivated, or you're manic, or you're depressed, or you're obsessive, or you're compulsive. You're all or you're none based on the thoughts. Well, I'm bringing this into the equation because what I want you to understand is that thoughts are things. Thoughts precede emotion. Thoughts precede habits. You create the habit, then the habit creates you. That's why in concept therapy, what we're teaching you about there are concepts, there are fixed ideas. You could also call this, maybe these are mental blocks or limiting beliefs or strongholds in our life. Maybe they're biases that we have. They're blind spots. They're fixed mindsets. There's tunnel vision. There's self-fulfilling prophecy. Whatever you want to call this, ideally, we're going to help focus on taking the negative, changing it over to the positive. And we do that by using the laws of the body, mind, and soul and universal laws. So if you understood a little bit about how the body, mind, and soul works, well, you would understand that when you violate those laws, then you get the consequences of that. When you follow them, then you get the blessings and benefits of that. And then there's the laws of the universe, the universal laws. These are the laws that God's put in place to run his cosmos. So anytime we violate these, well, we get feedbacks. And what if you have created the negative feedback and now the negative feedback's creating you, but you don't know it because you have a program, a fixed idea, this stronghold, this limiting belief that's operating and you don't know how to change it? Well, as a teacher, my goal is to help you become aware of that so that you can do what you got to do to begin to change that process. It's a do-it-yourself proposition. The old saying is we can lead you to the water, we can't make you drink. Well, we don't teach you what to think, we just teach you how to think and how to use reason so that you can get the life that you're striving for and have less volatility, which ultimately involves better health. So inquire on the Concept Therapy course. We'd love to share more about it so that you can ultimately accomplish the goals and the dreams that you have. Until then, see you then.